Hello, Bazalwane. How are you? I am 2 days fresh off of a 2-week trip to Zim. I just want to come on here and share more ideas with you. Things that I noticed that I think there's room for somebody who wants to come home and start and establish something that actually fills a void in the market. Right off the bat, when I landed in Zim, I was there specifically to renovate the house that I grew up in. I am taking my time with it, but I wanted to get as much done as possible in those 2 weeks. And for me, those projects were replacing the countertops that we had in our kitchen because the guy who did the job last time didn't seal the countertops properly, so we had water going in and coming up from underneath, and we ended up with a termite problem. Restored the backyard and cemented to make it a nice hangout area because I want to have an outdoor lifestyle when I'm in Zim, especially when I'm at Getzi. It's nice to have a fire going and have people in the neighborhood come over for braais. We play games, just a more outdoor lifestyle. The very first business idea that I came up with that I came out of necessity was really having a directory. I wish there was a directory that was updated maybe every 3 months, maybe every 6 months, of the top 100 people to contact for specific services. Carpenters, a list of builders, welders, photographers, wedding planners, currently operating and trading hotels, lodges. I just wish there was a list, because the amount of time I spent driving around looking for something that I could have found off of a directory that was a live, updated, current directory would have definitely helped me so much. I think I spent so much money and time just driving around, burning petrol, looking for stuff that could have been easily found off of a directory. So that's an idea that I think I'm going to pursue. I just have to tighten my boots, pull my boots up, and really put together a team that will scour the entire downtown area, registering every business, what they do, what they offer, what their prices are, and then offer maybe extra services for businesses that want to be on the top 10 list. Maybe charge them an annual fee or maybe a monthly fee to be on the directory, and then offer services like photography, videography, social media marketing, and so forth. So that's something that I would really have to gear up to take on and create a proper team, in addition to running my makeup company, my fitness company, and all the things that I'm already doing. So that's business idea number one. And if somebody wants to partner with me on that idea, by the way, get at me, because I think I'm going to need a lot of help. Next is business number two, is something that I initially really yearned for the first 3-4 days that I was in Zim, and that was amalokshini cafes. Where you can go exeni or emini to go sit somewhere, drink something, have a little snack. I couldn't find anywhere to go, even if I just wanted a little breakfast. The first 3-4 days were even more difficult because I didn't have a fridge, and the fridge that we used to have was taken by a family member who needed it more than we did, because there's nobody living in the house for a while. I had to buy a fridge, and they gave us a 48-hour delivery time frame, which also landed over the weekend. So I really wished there was somewhere I could go. The only place I could go to were at Bucha, where you could have dinner and you could have lunch, but definitely no breakfast. And it's in Dawa, Hamba is Dawa, so an average gogo or a teen would really not like to be seen there. So I think there's room for cafes, and I think a lot of these things you can run from your premises. And if you can offer internet, even better, because that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is having access to data. And if you have an establishment where you're able to get unlimited Wi-Fi for about $80 a month, I think if you could offer that, even if it's just $1 per 30 minutes or $1 per hour, it's a value added proposition to selling a $1 cappuccino, a London fog, a smoothie, a lemonade, a sandwich. And just start where you live in Linyangeni, and then from there on you can grow when you see that there's a potential. You can get chairs made by local craftsmen. You don't have to go and buy expensive furniture. The more earthy and normal and non-pretentious the establishment is, the better. It could be tree trunks and then a cushion at Tumiung Mama or Tungayo from down the road. And really make it real, make it normal. Strive to source all your ingredients, or at least 90% of your ingredients, locally, and make things approachable, adaptable, and natural. Don't be pretentious with it. Number 3, I did think that there's room for more people who are in the another category that I saw that I think there's definitely room is making things from scratch that serve the renovation process. An example would be creating countertops versus always importing countertops, for example, from China or somewhere else. I think there's a lot of raw material that could be used to creating countertops, slabs, and I even thought of making a slab out of paint and cement mixed together to get that marble look that you get from actual marble. And I think it's still possible because we did create a whole cement slab for an oven that we're building. Even creating cool basins, bathroom basins, doorknobs, faucets. These are things that can be done by hand, especially if you make them slightly different, slightly cool. I've seen them in these hotels and these lodges where they create cool basins. I've seen it in restaurants. And I think that there's room for that, using stone, cement, wood, even using ujani to make drapes, to make curtains. So I think there's room in that, but that really does take somebody who's got a creative mind that can go, really all out and also afford themselves the time. I think once you corner that market and you become known for cool, repurposed furniture, using old doors to make dining room tables, all kinds of cool stuff. I even had my hand in creating some vases using cement. We just used a mold of a 5-liter water bottle that I had purchased because I was drinking bottled water. Unfortunately, I do have a JoJo tank and I plan on purifying and filtering my water so that I don't have to buy them, but we cut it in half and we use that as a mold, and that became like a little vase that we're gonna use to put fruits and stuff like that. So it's a cement vase. So that's one of the ideas. I have lots more ideas because I just saw so many potential ideas. I do think though when you go to Zim, you have to go with a momentum and energy of doing things in a timely manner, but also buy yourself the time for trial and error, not necessarily wasting money, but give yourself the time to catch the hang of what people actually need versus what you think people need. But definitely a directory is essential, Wi-Fi spaces are essential, and hangout spots. There's really no hangout spots to go to unless you're going somewhere specifically to drink and to eat meat. There's nothing to do during the day, and that's why Hefeli's in town is doing very well, because it's a spot people can go to and not get sloshed. They just meet there for a coffee. But I think these things are necessary, but the key is to source your ingredients locally. If you're importing, you're going to cry because of the import fees and the logistics of it all. So I do think it forces us to look more resourcefully to our own land, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Another thing I want to add that I think has lots of growth potential is food manufacturing. Making ketchup, it's not that difficult to make ketchup. It's a fermented product. Making sauces, I did the chili, garlic, and thyme and sea salt, and I thought if I could just sell that small jar for $1, the margins are reasonable, and it's a product that people are going to buy more. A cousin of mine is making soap and supplying Mum's Kitchen and other restaurants and businesses with soap as hand wash and soap for washing dishes. He's making that soap from home. I'd love to share more ideas with you guys. If you are interested, do comment below. Also get in touch with me on Instagram. I am Constance CEO. There's also lots of potential in farming, especially if you can go into specialty foods that can be exported. Export is a big market, but also consumed locally, like rabbit meat, like duck, goat, wild mushrooms. If you can just step a little bit away from the usual chicken, imbita, ikabichi, I think there's room for microbreweries. I think you can start a microbrewery from home and then eventually, approach the authorities or the leaders in that space that can advise you further on how to turn that into a business. But I think for Zimbabweans, it's important to go home and start projects. Get that mindset of things are better elsewhere out of our minds, claim back our land, and start solving our own problems. We might not be able to build skyscrapers or planes, but I think we could start solving our own problems and make industries out of that. If you look at companies like Johnson & Johnson, Nestle, they really made their billions off of small consumer products that have a small margin but consistent margin. And I think it's time we fall back in love with the idea of solving our own problems and building our own businesses and our own fortunes from that, and then start exporting. Yeah, that is it for this video. I have more ideas, so definitely comment below and share this video with anybody that you think would benefit from this. I personally am excited to go back. I'm already planning. I only came back to do my root canal, which I did yesterday, the very next day when I came back, because I was in excruciating pain for 2 weeks. And I just wanted to go to the doctor who had done my filling, and now that that is sorted, I just have to plan my trip back. So bye for now.